Hey everyone, this is the Jack 3 Essentials Guide, which is going to cover on-foot movement, vehicles, and jetboarding. There will be timestamps below. I'm unfortunately not going to be editing this because I already do enough of that as is. But let's just jump straight into it. And also, my input display broke recently, so it would have made it a little bit easier, but it's going to have to do with what I got right now. So we're going to start with on-foot movement, which is going to encapsulate a couple of Jack 1 moves, some on-foot movement stuff. So you roll jump by holding up and pressing L1 and X, right? Simple enough. I'm not going to go over telling you how to punch, spin, all that stuff, you know. You already know that. But when you roll forward and then you hold out to the side a little bit, like you flick the stick left or right as you're in the middle of a roll, like right here, for example, I'm going to hold left. And then I time the jump, like the roll jump at the very end, like really late. You can get some nice angled roll jumps like this, which can come in handy. You can do them really late and you can get some really like crazy ones, like see like that. So they can come in handy a couple times. Now we're going to talk about boosted uppercuts, and boosteds are a Jack 1 technique that you definitely need to know, but if you're just learning Jack 3, you might not know this. Anyway, so let's find a good ledge. A lot of the ledges are really thick in this game, and they all like slope down really, really nicely. So these ledges are kind of like not super great. This one will work. This one will do. So what a boosted uppercut is basically just walking. So by tilting the analog stick, Jack will move. You know, he'll walk. He won't do his usual run. He'll walk. So when you walk off a ledge, you can see that Jack is still walking as he's falling off like this. And what you can do is you can initiate an uppercut, just like this, as you're walking. And you'll get this. Okay, didn't work. Hold up. It's because this ledge is not very high. There you go. That's a boosted uppercut. It's very neat. It's barely used in the game, but it does come in handy a couple times. You can also spin at the end. And yeah, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It's not working all the time because I'm touching the floor as it's happening. Like you see, I'm touching the floor, so this is kind of a bad spot to show it. Sorry, lady. I guess next would be extended uppercuts that are just a boosted. Extended uppercuts is the act of losing all of your height with a punch and an uppercut, and then spinning to retain it and put it back, like so. Fairly straightforward as well. You don't want to be doing it like this, because that's not going to work. You want to walk off at the very edge. You basically, like, when Jack walks, as you can see, he's still walking off the edge right now. So you just want to, like, punch as late as you can, as you're already falling off. Like that, you see, and then you regain all of that, and it gives you a lot of length on your extended uppercut. Like so. Very good. The next one is Concussor combos. So the second red gun has this property where it boosts Jack up in the air. It gives him a little bit of a bump. And there are so many combos with this thing. I'm going to go over most of the one that you really need. But we're going to start with Concussor spin jumps. This is the old way that everyone used to do it. In case you're struggling with a jump and you don't know what to do, this is the way to do it. It's hold L1 and then X to high jump, shoot, spin, shoot. Basic combo. That's the way we used to do it back in the day. Now you can do Concussor double jumps, which is which would be jump, shoot, spin, shoot. So that's like one to like carry you forward in a way. So it's jump, shoot, spin, shoot. Like this. Jump, shoot, spin, shoot. It's just timing it correctly. So those are your two. Like, in case you like fall down and you want to like get up somewhere quickly, it's like, oh, I fell down here. I don't know how to get this orb. And you can, you know, maybe do this or something to get up like that, you know. But what's even more powerful than that, actually, is the Concussor high jump. And this is where most of your combos begin. So you can either crouch and then shoot first. So what you're doing is essentially you're shooting, and then you're combining it with a high jump. I like to shoot first, so I just do this, and it looks like that. As you can see, I can actually get up on this thing, which you wouldn't be able to do with any other combo. I can hit. I'm not even close to reaching that without it. So there's that. So most people like crouching before it. I can't really teach you how that works because I've always done it this way. where I just shoot and then I crouch. But basically, you're just combining the shot with the high jump. Simple as that. Now I will say one thing, especially for the jump in the volcano, in No Oob and all missions in Hundo, 99% of the reason you're missing that jump is because you're spinning really late. A lot of people I see, they get it like this, and then they spin instantly. Hold up. They just do like that. They just like spin super early, and it's like you want to really wait until you're almost falling, like this. Like until you do it. So it's like that. And you want to like roll the stick. Like once you're at the top, you want to like do a little like, it's like circle and then L1, because circle and R1. The R1 gets buffered. So it's like this. So you can see that it's already been pressed. I pretty much pressed them at the same time, more or less, except I just do a little roll. Like it's circle before R1, but yeah, you can see that I roll it like that. Another thing as well is if you jump and like do a rapid fire, like if you just jump and then do this, you'll get 2 shots all the time because you trigger a rapid fire. But if you can land on the ground like this and then spin, then he won't do the second shot like that. So that's another thing that can help in the volcano as well. I go over that in my noob tutorial. And another thing you can do, this is the final combo, is you can do a concussor double jump. By doing this, you can walk into a single jump and do this. Like that. You know, there's so many variables and stuff like that. You can walk into it, you can do a high jump with it. But that's basically how you do it. It just takes a lot of practice to get down. You have to get very comfortable with like spacing things out and make sure that you're spacing everything out, spinning at the right time, shooting at the right time. Don't rush any of the inputs. That's usually like how most people fail stuff, is they just rush the inputs, and that's how you fail it. So now we're going to go into the garage, and we're going to start talking about vehicles, because vehicles is a big part about Jak 3. There are 5 main vehicles that you'll be driving in 4 of the main categories. 100% uses the Desert Screamer, which is over here, which doesn't have any additional tech. And the Heat Seeker and the Demon something, I forget the name of it. Dust Demon. They are not used ever. So, we'll just jump into I want to jump into the Gila Stomper first, because this vehicle has a very interesting mechanic. Now, I have infinite boosts, so that's actually really good, because that means I won't have to farm for one. This is a really overlooked technique that I really want a lot of people to pay attention to here. I need to get up on top of this hill first, but this, I basically just want to... This is a very important technique that a lot of people just don't know about. And I guess I can call it, like, boost preservation in some way, I guess, would be the best way to describe it. When you have a boost and you're driving down a hill, or you just use a boost and you're driving straight forward, jump when your boost runs out. I see so many people not do this, and it preserves your speed like an enormous amount. You don't want to be spamming it, because sometimes you can land on the front tires and you'll flip over on your head. But let me show you how efficient it is, especially for this vehicle. This is actually the most important vehicle where you want to do it. Second being the Dune Hopper. So I'm going to drive down this. I'm going to do this. And you can see that I'm preserving some of the speed like that. We're going to do it again here. We're just going to boost. And we're going to do 2 jumps. And it just like preserves it a little bit. It might not be that easy to notice. It's also really like hard to do this with all these marauders around. But there's not really like a better place to show you. So we're just going to get back to full speed. And when you run out, jump, jump. Do like a couple jumps, especially down this slope. This is where it's the easiest to show you. Like that. It preserves like a decent amount of speed. You can also another thing as well is, yeah, you can boost and then like try to ramp off like a hill or something to preserve airtime. Airtime is really good if your boost just runs out. So yeah, that's boost preservation. Now I think I'm just going to teach you the rest of the tech with the Dune Hopper, because the Dune Hopper is one of the main vehicles you really want to learn how to drive. So let's start. If you're really new to this game, how the fuck do I control these vehicles? They spin out all the time. I'm on my head all the time. What do I do? The main 2 things to do to avoid is spinning out and flipping over. Now, spinning out happens because when you hold X in this game, you drive forward, and then when you just crank the stick to any direction, let's hold left, you slide out. It's an instant slide out. You instantly start drifting. And some people don't like that, and I understand that, but you gotta learn to deal with it, and you gotta learn how to work against it. So how do I prevent this? There's two ways. You gotta, if I want to turn hard to the left, you let go of X and do that. You can either, yeah, okay, so there's a couple ways of turning really sharply. So turning sharply, you can either let go of X and then just turn to the side and then just like tap X like this just to keep yourself at like a slower rhythm, like a slower, you know, and you won't be spinning out just then. You can also hard turn and then like let go and then like you can like, you know, hold it and then hold it again, and that'll do it. So that's one way to do it. Another way is just to like, let's say I want to turn hard to the right, like this. The moment I start spinning out, I can just crank it back to the left. There you go. And I stabilize the car. He's just gonna have to deal with it. And then, you know, that's how it always is. You start spinning out a lot easier the faster you're going. So if I'm not going very fast, it's pretty much impossible to slide out. But I mean, if you do like slide back and forth like constantly like this, you can end up having it happen to you. But it's not the worst thing in the world. As long as you're counteracting it like this, it's not the worst thing. If you want to turn to the side with full speed, you can do like, let's say you want to turn full 90. You can do like, you can turn and then turn back. You can turn and you turn back. You can turn and then you turn back. Like turn and then stabilize, turn, stabilize like this. You turn. I'm obviously just going to give myself a little bit of speed here. We turn. It's not sliding out. Yeah, then you stabilize. And you can turn again, then you stabilize. You can turn again, then you can stabilize. Lots of ways to do it. You see? It's just falls very natural. It's something you're just going to have to get used to, but it'll fall naturally eventually. Okay, now for another thing. Air steering. This should be fairly obvious, but I don't know if you know this, but you can steer the car in the air. I'm holding back and the car tilts back. I'm now holding forwards and the car's tilting forward. I'm now holding to the side and the car will turn that way. You can also turn the car, like, for example, I'm going to hold right and then like it'll do like a turn to the right in the air, you see? So yeah, that's air steering, fairly simple stuff. We've gotten boost preservation. Now let's talk about skid turning, which is something a lot of people tend to forget, even though it's in the tutorial. Holding circle in this game gives you a slide on purpose, like this. It's a harder one than the usual one. And if you want to turn around 180, it's the best way to do it. It is simply the best way to turn 180. It's just do a hard skid turn like this. Works a lot. Just hold down circle. Simple as that. Best way to turn 180. Okay, next up is spawn manipulation, which is when you're driving around in the desert, you'll see these marauders. They're everywhere. They're annoying. L1 is your friend and can actually despawn vehicles in front of you. So what you can do is you can just turn the camera around like this and you can despawn the vehicles that are in front of you. You have to fiddle around with this a lot because a lot of it depends on how close the vehicles are to you, what angle they're at, and where you are, like what's in front of you. There's a bunch of little factors, but the biggest thing is the distance and the angle. If they're too close, they're impossible to despawn. If they're far away, as long as you don't go head on against them, you can despawn them by turning a bit to the side. I'll try and show this off. So look at the minimap. I'm going to turn... Yeah, these are too close. So... There's a maximum of... It depends when you are in the desert, but sometimes the max is 3, sometimes it's 4 during some of the missions, sometimes it's 5 during some missions. So, we're gonna outrun these guys. And see that guy in the back. I can despawn him. Okay, no. Didn't happen, but yeah. Let's try going over this, like, hill. Something like this. I'm keeping them loaded, by the way. This is another thing you can do. Is you can... For example, if you want to, like, go into an area... and you don't want anything to spawn in front of you, you can keep the guys loaded behind you by doing the same thing, by holding L2. So I'm just going to So now that I turn the camera forward, I deloaded 2 behind me. So we're going to get 2 new spawns, and I'm going to try and deload those guys now. Yeah, see, I'm going to try and deload the guy on the right. Okay, it didn't work. But I'm not getting it right now. But it usually works. It usually works, it usually works when you're in missions a lot of the time, especially with the dune hopper. It might just be because this car is really fast. You don't tend to do it a lot with the dune hopper overall. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's probably just because I'm with the dune hopper. You don't really tend to do that much with the dune hopper. It's because getting boost with the dune hopper is really valuable. But it's something you do a lot with the tough puppy and the sand shark because they're a little bit slower. So, kind of bad exampling there, but trust me, it's better with these vehicles. One more thing is low jumps. This one is something a lot of people don't know, which is really valuable. Is when you hold L and you charge a jump and you let go, you'll jump at a fixed height every single time. It'll always jump this high. You can actually lower this jump to multiple heights by tapping L1 again very quickly. So you can lower your jump by doing this. You just tap it again like that. That's a low jump. There you go. I can make them a little bit higher just by like tapping it slightly later. You can see that. So I can like make it over this, for example, but I don't want to go too high. And yeah, just fiddle with the timing. And it's actually really, really good. Because like, for example, yeah, it's just situational uses. Like, it can be really useful instead of like ramping off this thing. Maybe you just want to like stay on the ground because there's another guy coming or something like that. Also, sometimes you're holding L1 and you want to let go, but if you let go, you'll do the jump, and you don't want to do that. Like, you're coming up, but like, yeah, basically you just want to let go of the jump, but if you let go of the button, you'll jump. So what you can do is you can just do a little quick low jump like that, and then there you go. You're free again. You're free to move around. Super unheard of technique. Not a lot of people do it. Not a lot of people know it. And that is vehicles. Boost preservation, skid turning, spinning out, air steering, low jumps, and spawn manipulation, all down below. Now let's talk jetboarding. And I'm going to need to go to the temple for this. This is my usual spot I show this stuff off in. Jetboarding in Jak 3 is something you'll be doing a lot, and it's something that takes a lot of time to get down. But it is awesome when you figure it out. So, jetboarding in Jak 3 works in this way. Oh, that's the wrong mission. But we're going to talk about the basics, just so you know, like, what's up if you've never jetboarded before. And then we're going to go into some more advanced techniques that you'll learn a little bit later. It should be complete long temple test. Okay. So we're going to start off with punchboarding. Very simple technique. All you do is press square and R2. It can be at most parts during the animation. But basically, it just allows you to, instead of just pulling it out like that, you can do this. You can, you know, sometimes you can do a quick one like that. Sometimes you do a lengthy one. But I recommend keeping it fairly short. It doesn't really matter all that much. As long as you keep it like fairly quick, you'll get it. Yeah, super easy technique. Side flipping. This is something that you're going to be spamming over and over again. I'd actually like to know how many times I've side flipped in my life. It's probably a million. But it's as simple as you jump, you hold R1 and face to the side, and you spin. You don't want to spin twice. You don't get anything out of that. You just want to jump and hold R1 and hold to the side and then complete a spin. In Jak 2, the jetboard is a little bit more finicky. You have to complete a 360 and then you have to face upwards. If you face to the side with the stick after you do the 360, you won't get the boost. In this game, all you do is complete the 360 and you can be facing any direction and you'll still get it. You can even let go at like 270 degrees and it'll complete itself and you'll still get it sometimes. Which is why you can do like some ultra low side flips like this. Where you can, you know, get them really low to the ground by just like tapping X. These are commonly referred to as goofy side flips, but they're not important, really. It's really, really small stuff. But yeah, you just want to jump and then spin, you know, and stuff like this. Make sure you're keeping the rhythm, whatever you find comfortable, left or right, it doesn't really matter, it's the same thing. I usually just go wherever I'm going, so if I'm going to the right, I side flip to the right. If I'm going to the left, I side flip to the left. But yeah, punchboard side flip is like a really common starter. You're only at full speed for the jetboard whenever you're at 2 side flips, but you'll slow down unless you start jumping. So I'll talk about this too. Is speed preservation on the jetboard. When you turn like this, you instantly lose double side flip speed. So if I do this twice and then turn, I've lost the speed. I don't know if it's noticeable, but it's by a really small margin. So in order to preserve your speed, you want to jump. And this is not maybe the best spot to show it, but you can keep double side flip speed by jumping like this. But instead of jumping to preserve it, you're probably better off just continuing to do side flips because you'll get a little tiny boost. But if you want to turn and you don't want to, and you cannot fit in a side flip, you got to jump. That's just how it is. So tight corners, like for example, I want to turn around, just got to jump. Preserve the speed like that. That's what you got to do. Now let's talk boost jumping. This is a part where you have to pay attention because so many people don't know this part of just the general jetboard scheme. When you jump on the jetboard, your jump looks like this. This is how high you'll go. It's fixed. Nothing to it. When you jump and land, Jack will crouch. When he crouches, a little wave will come out from the jetboard. Oh no, that only happens later, sorry. When you jump, Jack will do a crouch. And then when you jump in this crouch, Jack will do this. And this is where you can see that little wave come out. You see that? Little wave from underneath the jetboard, that little wave? That's called a boost jump. This is a boost jump. And it can only be done when the jetboard is like completely against the ground. So you can see, for example, like sometimes I'm not able to get it because there's some weird geometry that I'm on. Like for example, if the jetboard isn't completely, if the entire jetboard doesn't touch the surface, you won't be able to get a boost jump. But yeah, like there, for example, I didn't get it because the whole jetboard didn't touch the ground. And there again, super minute stuff, but yeah. You gotta let Jack do this crouching animation, otherwise you won't get the height. If you just tap it, like if you just keep jumping, then he'll just keep going to this desired height. Although this is the kind of jump you want to be doing if you want to preserve your speed with side flips. But most, we'll go into the combos later, but yeah, that's the boost jump. Now let's get into launch jumping, and this one's fairly simple as opposed to boost jumping, but it's very important I teach you this because the whole combination is going to add up in the end. So you're going to need to learn all of these. So when you hold L1, you just charge a jump. You press X, you'll do this kind of jump. And again, fixed height, it's the same every time. Now what you can do is you can combine a boost jump and a launch jump. So if I jump and do this, you can see that I'm combining the two jumps into one. It's very hard to notice that it's extra height, but like let's take the top of this. It's going to be really tough, but yeah. I don't think I have a good example. But basically, if you just do a launch jump like this, just the normal one, you'll get like fairly high. But if you do a boost jump, you'll go a little bit higher even. It's very, very slight, but you can kind of see it. Very, very minute. You want to get that boost jump and you want to get the launch jump at the same time. If you just do a normal jump like this, you won't always get the right height. You see? You got to get that. You got to wait that a little bit and then it'll happen. So now that you've got all that stuff, you can start combining the usual combo, which is punchboard, side flip, and then like launch jump like this. Like that. That's a great way to gain like a lot of height and stuff like that. But obviously that combo is just the beginning. There's more to it. So now let's talk about extended front flipping. Extended front flipping is basically when you jump and hit R1 like this, you'll do a front flip. If you jump and hold X while you do this, you'll get height while you do it. This is actually really important. A lot of people don't know about this. Again, jump and just hold R1, you'll do a front flip. You never want to do that. That is literally useless. You always want to be holding X. So jump, keep holding X, R1. You gain a lot more height. And again, you can combine it with boost jump, you can combine it with launch jump, and you get a lot of height. It's very nice. But the L1 button will give you a bunch of tricks like this. You see this? I mean, L2 will do the same like this, but what you want to do is you want to do one of those tricks and then cancel it into a front flip like this. So you jump, you hit L1, and then for the first few frames of this trick, you gain a little bit of height, and then you cancel it into a front flip like this. You hear that? You hear like a whoop, whoop. That's because I'm doing LR. LR. And you want to space it very nicely. You don't want to just, like, if you do them too close together, you won't get any height. It has to be like, you want to get that little extra height from the trick, and then you do it. So what we learned so far now is we can do punchboard, side flip, launch and boost jump, and then extended front flip. A lot of height. You see how high I'm going there? That's crazy stuff, right? I didn't get the boost jump there because, again, it didn't land like correctly. And yeah, again, didn't land correctly. Just part of the slope there on the jetboard part. But look how high I'm going. That is the power of the jetboard when you really get down to it. So that is the highest combo that you can reach, is launch jump, boost jump with full speed, and then extended front flip at the end. Now, of course, we all know about the hover, and I'm going to teach you how to hover for the 4th millionth time, even though there's a million tutorials. I don't really know what new I can really add to this, except hovering is the act of canceling 2 tricks into one, and the second trick is infinite. So what you want to do is you want to jump, and then hold. Again, input display would make this easier, but it broke. You want to hold L1 and the analog stick halfway. You don't want to side. You need to hold it halfway. And when you hold it halfway, it means that the trick is like half registered in a way. So like that, I was holding it half and it's still registered. Now if I do up, I keep holding L1. I get 2 tricks in one. And if you can get this motion down where you just XL and then turn the stick like this, just these 2 motions, do not rush the second half of the hover. Just get these 2 parts down. The second part will come way easier. You need to learn the fundamentals that it's a trick cancel. It's 1 2 1 2. It's just do that over and over again. I say this in the other tutorial as well. It's just you got to get those 2 tricks down. Jump, turn the stick to the side halfway, and then turn the stick fully up while completely holding L1 from the first press. So it's L1 to the side, up, keep this held. It's 1 motion, 2 motion. 1 motion, 2 motion. And again, you can do this when you have speed as well. This will take a while. Hovering is not the easiest thing in the world. It's been so long since I've learned it that I can't really relate to how long it takes. I mean, back in the day, it took me a few days. But it might take weeks, you know, again, I was experienced with speedrunning at the time, so it didn't take me as long as I thought it would, but it was also, I learned it in a really weird way when we just found it, you know, so don't feel too afraid if you just don't know it right away or it doesn't click right away. It takes hours. I had to practice for hours to get this down. I say I learned it in a couple of days. That's with playing 6 to 8 hours every day, you know, took a while for it to click. And yeah, that's that. A couple more things on the jetboard, just miscellaneous stuff, is you can turn on the jetboard by pressing triangle. Sometimes you'll get a speed boost like this out of it. Sometimes you'll get a shitty speed boost, and sometimes the jetboard will get stuck. We don't really know why. It seems to come at random. You can also attack with the jetboard by pressing circle. Very useful. We use it all the time. You can also go through laser barriers with this. You can hit enemies with it. And yeah, bunch of stuff. I really recommend it when you're jetboarding through Haven City and when you're jetboarding through sections with crowded enemies and stuff like that. It's really, really good. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't think there's much else to cover. Felt kind of short, but I guess that's it. Oh, I guess one more thing. Optimal shooting. I saved this one for last. I'm glad I remembered it because this is something I've made a separate video about. when you're shooting the beam reflexor in Jack 3, it's all about spray control. It's something a lot of people don't recognize, especially if this is beam reflexor and blaster mode only. Is when you jump and do a rapid fire move, this will happen. Shoot 5 bullets, always 5. But as you're descending, so you see how the 5th bullet has already been shot as he's in the air, and when he's coming down. When he comes down like that, you can mash R1 to hit him to get him to shoot 10 times. See, like that? And those bullets will go straight because that's when he's just landing. You can actually trigger this on command by doing a jump spin, and right as he's about to land, you can get that, and you can get at least 3 or 4 stray shots in like that in a row. So when you're spraying, like when you want to board clear the whole thing, you have to just time the spins right and then mash R1. Like keep this like constant rhythm held, but you want to just perfect. So I don't know if that taught you anything, but it essentially you just have to keep that constant string of 10 bullets like flying out. You just have to 5, 10, 5, 10, 5, 10, like just constantly just like you don't want to just like jump and you know like or whatever. You want to like jump and then spin and then shoot it and then jump and spin and then shoot it. You know? It's like a constant rhythm. It's yeah. It also especially helps knowing where your bullets are going. I guess I think this is another yellow here. Oh, this red. Again, it's just you just want to keep that string, and then once you've done that 10, do it again. Keep that string flowing. It really helps. If you're playing Jack 2, for example, that's very useful in the Jack 2 final boss. But I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah, that's everything you really need to know. There's nothing else to it. If you have any questions, if there's anything I missed, let me know. If I missed anything, I could do a follow-up video. But for now, that is the Jack 3 Essentials. Have fun running. Take care.